This is Dre, and you are now tuned into the Record Pool.
Move your body, move your body. Let the music take control.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Summertime Fine.
It's your boy, Chicago Realist.
And we back with the Record Pool. So, y'all, we got Dre in the building. Definitely doing his thing out here. Okay, let's talk about the businesses going on. And I definitely want to get into the business segment and the business side of things. So, let's start off with, how did you get started?
It's crazy. So I was going to IUN.
Okay.
And I was going to school for health service management, right? And while I was going there, I was getting tattoos. So I'm actually from Florida.
Okay.
So I found a tattoo artist out here, and he was actually working at Roy Boys at that time. So while going to school, I just took out the health part, and it was just teaching you how to manage and work around people and their skills. Mm-hmm. So I was getting tatted, and he was a cold artist, but he was in a building that was just kind of rugged and run down. So I had peeped from afar, like, all right, so if a person has talent and you can create something around something that they already got going, it made it a lot easier. So pretty much with conversation, tattoos take about like 2 to 3 hours, 4 hours. So every tattoo session was like a session of me asking questions and me like getting interested in the actual business part of it. And just like a lot of business that require real estate, that's all it took. It took me for and it's really risk. Like I tell people now, like, business is risk no matter how you see it, from the beginning to the end, whether it's an easy business or not. And the risk can be financial, or it could just be your thought process on how you think about things, because that's why when people open up businesses, not everything lands solid, but as long as, like me, for example, I took the risk of, hey, if I could pay rent for the first 2 months without even getting profit back, and I thought about that before I opened it up to save up enough to do that. And but from the beginning, we never really had it. It's just about finding. Well, for me, it was about finding talent around something that I can build structure through. And I think that's where I found my talent in, is entrepreneurship. But I can find something to build structure through it. And that's pretty much what I did. And we've been operating since 2018. So, yeah, sure.
So, like, it's your first time on the platform. Like, where you from?
I'm actually from Florida.
Okay. Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, I'm from Orlando.
Okay.
So how you end up, going to IU? Because that's in Gary, Indiana, right?
Gary. So I came out here in 2013. My daughter, she was kind of the reason the transition out here. Her mama was from Chicago. So when she ended up getting pregnant, I am coming out this way, specifically for her. And man, the best thing that ever happened.
Right.
The best thing, like, it's crazy because sometimes them things can go either way, but being away from friends, right? Being away from people that I grew up with. And I came out here as an adult. I was 20.
Right.
So I already had my set of friends. So for like 2 to 3 years, all I did was work, but it kicked me into gear to being able to focus interior. So I actually started at Ivy Tech. I started there, and then the transition went to IU, and then I've been there ever since.
Okay. So what's one thing, you being a business owner, what's one thing you could say that you've learned, like one of your biggest lessons?
Leadership. And it's crazy because I always tell people finances is the last thing that I think about. And I see why when people get more money, that's the last thing on their mind. Because the shape around how you treat people and the shape of how you treat your business itself comes from experience, and it's hard to see because right now, right, I'm in school still. But I'm just turned 30, right? So I'm in school with some people that are 18, 19, and they're confused. They're in class learning the same thing I'm learning, but because I've been through so much things, it makes sense to me more. And
right.
I can see how sometimes it could shift off. So with me, it was leadership. Like when I first started the business, not to say you can't grow friends with your employees or the people that you're around, but I was a little bit more closer than I probably should have been. Obviously, I didn't know. I was learning. Yeah. And it took for me to grow so close and then take a step back after I got a brand new team to manage my team different. And how I did it was I didn't take away, right? I still had my meetings, right? But I didn't come through the door unless I was needed. And that shifted the mindset of Adrian always being around from, hey, what's good, Dre? Dre's about to come through the door. Let's make sure that the shop's in shape. We're on our shit. And with that, it gave me more time to structure things. And once again, I keep saying structure because behind every business, no matter if it's whatever it is, honestly, any type of business, if you don't have consistency in the way that it operates, it's not gonna. If anything, I always tell people you should always grow throughout your process. If you stay stuck at a level, you may hit a bad year if it's like COVID or something that you don't expect. You know what I'm saying? Like, even to survive through that part, you know, taught me that, man, the engagement, right? And I teach these artists now because everybody's individual. The engagement that you have with the business and how you treat it as your own. A good quote that I follow that kind of just tears into that is Inky Johnson, right? He says the way that you view what you do will always determine how you do what you do. And that's in just every aspect. You know, if you feel like you can be lazy at the gym, then you go be lazy at the gym. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up. So let's just get, you know what I'm saying, clear that for the audience. You are the owner of Ink Time, which is in Gary, Indiana on Broadway.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Address is 4444 Broadway. It's right across from Buzzbox Wings. Yes, I'm the owner, CEO. At one point, I did everything, right? Going through business, you become the accountant. You know, you become the boss, obviously, but you learn your roles. And I actually put people, and I think one of the best things that I did with this business is that I sat back and seen how different tattoo shops operated.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of people see tattoo shops at that low level, right? Because there's, whether it's the example they're getting from Black Ink, you know, or whether it's the examples that they're getting from shops in Chicago or in Florida, man, I operated different because I'm not a part of it the way that the owners most of the time are, right? Whether you're a barber, right? And I say that because the competitive is less. If you're a barber and you own a barbershop, most of the time they go on them, you got most of the crowd. You know, so I took advantage of that by making sure that I taught these guys how to operate on an individual level. You know, meaning take Ink Time, you know, and how any big business does it at a bigger aspect. I just viewed it as that. Jay-Z has what? Rockefeller, who's on there? Rihanna, certain artists, but everybody operates on their own level. So I kind of taught them how to open up that LLCs, become your own individual, but still operate so that way when it comes to doing taxes or how we operate, it's very organized. It's taking a business that's didn't have that much structure, just adding a little bit to it and seeing how much it can come back. You know.
So when you just started and in the beginning stages, what did you see? What was your goals at that time?
That's a great question. I was just thinking about that on my way here, you know, because my goals right now are crazy. But at that time, I was just thinking about opportunity, right? That was really it. You know, I just sat back and just said, man, if I can start to make some extra money, like how we all kind of start off in entrepreneurship, just trying to get a little extra cash in there. And it wasn't big. Honestly, it wasn't even the actual tattoo shop, right? I started off as an app, quote unquote app. It didn't go far, like 3 months. So I wanted to create, and there's apps out there like that right now. I just want to let y'all know I was the first one to kind of put that in there. But it's like 2015, 16. I started off with creating an app for tattoo artists to pretty much, they can book their appointments through there, like how Booksies does it for the haircuts and things like that. So that's where the term Ink Time came from. Because it was ink and then time scheduling and et cetera and et cetera. So I ended up meeting like an engineer in Washington D.C. that put me on to like a European thing. Once again, 2015. Right now is way easier. But it started off as an app, and that's when I ended up starting to get my tattoos. And I met this guy, and the app was okay. I had like 5 to 6 people, and pretty much I charged him to book through it. But it wasn't as fast of a cash flow as it would have been if I would have got an actual shop. And after learning the risk factor and like, all right, he makes a lot of money off of me. I know 2 months I just came in here and spent about $1,000 on some ink. So I can imagine the people he's hitting up. So if he's telling me I put him in a nicer place where he feels comfortable and working, you know, if you take somebody out of a raggedy Dunkin' Donuts and put him in a nice Starbucks, they're going to appreciate it more.
Right.
So that's pretty much all I did. And from there, man, it just growth, you know, growth on top of growth, whether it was new employees, whether it was learning that rotation's okay, right? You can't always keep people because you feel like they're loyal to either the business or the finances. You know, I've met so many type of people because I've managed so many different type of independent men, right?
Right.
And whether they're men or women, whether they're 40 or they're 20.
Yeah.
They come in all ages, but once again, the experience of me having to learn, like, all right, people are people, but how does the company make money? Because I got to keep the company the same. It's not the people. You know, I don't operate the people. I have a list of commandments of the company that each company does, right? As long as you respect these certain things, which is not controlling, it should be able to have the business flow as it should, you know.
So like with the company, how do you hire how you go about hiring, you know what I'm saying, a tattoo artist?
So with my experience in corporate, right? So I'm also in the health field as well.
Right.
Obviously my first degree, I'm getting my master's right now in public affairs. Right, so with my experience through corporate, I learned that references are first, right? Right, in company references, like somebody that you actually know. That man, like I've known them for 5 years, you know, and at a certain level, at a lower level, I would say, you know, and the reference is not that important, right? And once again, not to put any company down, but if they're hiring for a fryer at Wendy's, and they say my cousin's good for the job, right? But if you're at a hospital and you reference a nurse, hey, my cousin's a nurse. Yeah, they'll actually pay attention a little more. Like, all right, let's see what they're about. And honestly, the last couple of people that came through has been that way, and it's been way better. From somebody just coming in brand new, we still have some type of engagement between one or the other. So the uncomfortableness of them having to learn everybody. Yeah, and just one person has changed, you know. And once again, as I grew and as I learned, I'm like, man, I trust this dude enough. And the last couple of people that have been brought in have been solid. You know, like my team right now has been there for a while, and this is the youngest team I've had. And it's crazy because it's not only it's my best year this year, but it's the best team that I've had because everybody was willing to grow, you know, and even me being as a leader, you know, listen to more podcasts right this year, engagement, management, understanding that my ideas are ideas, but if there's ways that people can engage with me, I allow that to be open, you know, and that makes the team different. Right. You know,
So, you know, everybody, especially business owners and things of that nature, definitely took a hard hit when it came to COVID. So how was your experience when it came down to that? Because, you know, anybody who was an entrepreneur, if you were some type of entrepreneur, any type of way, form, or fashion, you felt that, because I know I did.
100%. You know, that's a major part of my testimony and my get back to, right, this being my best year as I speak to people throughout the year. Because if I wasn't financially understanding of the business, and this is kind of things that I learned from myself and kind of things that my pops may have taught me when I was younger, is to put money aside, right? And that's a lot of things that a lot of business owners, whether they're starting off, because and this was what, 2020, I had just got into the shop like late 2018, so I was still fresh in understanding that as we know now as business owner, every month isn't always going to be the same, right? You know, I can have some months where you're getting a lot of money, some months maybe slower, but understanding that bills stay consistent, but being able to put money to the side to understand that things may happen, whether it's insurance that has to be paid, whether it's kind of like the same idea as personal, where we put things to the side for, like, you know, if an accident happens, or even you can get more in debt with street, whether it's borrowing money or however that go. The knowledge that I had, and that's what actually saved me, is understanding that I was able to continue to get money but not spend it, you know, not going out there buying chains that I could probably afford, you know, not going out and spending my money at the street, just because my goals have always been bigger. And even at that time, right, I was still ambitious. And when COVID hit, it did hit hard though. And when I say that, is because all the money I had spent up, probably over $15K, you know, I ran through that so fast because I still had to pay these $4,000, $5,000 bills from the business and my personal. That was still adding up, you know. And I tell people right now, probably what saved me the most was my relationships that I built, you know, with my commercial business, right? Me and the landlord at the time was really cool from the business that I used to pay rent like 3 months in advance. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So if he knew I was able to do that, if I asked him for that, those first 3-4 months, like, hey, I'm gonna be paying it a little bit late, or I probably won't pay it this month, you know, because we weren't allowed to work, especially where I was at. At a certain point, we were allowed with restrictions.
Right.
Then they completely shut down for like at least a month and a half. I remember. So not having business, and then also not going to the what's it called,
The convention.
No, there was a loan that there was
The PPP loan.
The PPP loan, right? I didn't want to get attached to it, you know, because there was just too much things going around, whether it was legit or whether it wasn't.
Right.
You know, there was too much things floating around for me, so I just had to sit back, grind it out. Like I said, the relationships I built helped me, even with my apartment at that time.
Yeah.
They ended up helping me with the program to help me pay rent. And that was all through me being there for a while, paying rent early. You know what I'm saying? So relationship actually saved me. But the grind, right, during the pandemic is what got me back and got me to where I am today. Because it's not pandemic no more, but that hustle was so deep that by 2021, 2022, the hustle was still as deep as the pandemic. Well, because we not in that hurting every, you know what I'm saying? All of that, whether it's advertisement, teaching my team right, putting more money aside for advertisement, for marketing, for supplies and things like that. So I feel like that hustle that put us, a lot of business owners, through it, because I know they went through it. Like I said, I'm right there. I'm watching business shut down left to right.
Yeah.
I'm on the same street I'm on. I've been there for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
You know, so the encouragement that I had to build was in myself, right? Everybody was at the crib, and I would just shoot texts to my artists like, hey man, make sure y'all staying up, make sure y'all drawing, make sure you stay consistent, you know, because there's things with Kobe or sports athletes say, right? Like there's reels.
Yeah.
Instagram is the most craziest thing now, because there's so many reels that, whether it's an artist, an athlete, but if you take it as a personal thing, like you'll feel it, you know what I'm saying? Like you'll really feel it. Whether it's on my way here, I was listening to Kobe say practice is preparation, right, for the actual game. And I felt like what was preparation was me staying consistent in school. It was me making sure I study, me making sure I look up YouTube videos. That was my practice. So when it was time to actually do it, I wasn't as fearful. Yeah. Which was the risk, right? That risk don't exist when you got that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I viewed it, and I was able to get through a hard time. You know, it definitely was. It was even thoughts of me shutting down the shop, because like I said, I have a career outside of that. So it got to that point, you know, and but it was the will to not quit, right? You know, and I think that's one of the biggest things that I hold close to me now is willpower, right? And willpower goes crazy. You can really point it at any direction, you know, but making sure that you know that you have to give your best and grind hard every day, especially when you ain't really come from nothing, you know, and it doesn't have to be that point. But I think that's where it's like I've been through worse. Yeah. You know, I've been through way worse than this shit. Yeah. This is COVID. It's actually something that we couldn't control. Right. You know, and we've been through life dealings where I actually controlled certain things that made me become a worse person or put me in a worse predicament. So being able to come back, and like I said, when I came back, I became a better leader though. Yeah. Which allowed my team to become better, and which allowed my company to become better. Right.
That's what's up. So I kind of got a two-part question, right? I wanted to, tattoo artists. Now, are they employees or are they their own bosses?
Yeah, so it's based off the owner, man. It really is based off the owner on how they want to treat them. Okay. And which is why I tell the guys that I run into now. So let's say, and this is good. This is almost like this is the key to the game. So if any tattoo artist listens to this, and once again, I encourage like all artists they can work for me, but it's a rotating cycle. Somebody's gonna be new in it, so somebody's gonna try to come work. So I encourage them to go open their own business eventually, but always know that it's a lot of work. Like it's a lot more than just finances, right? But back to what you're saying is how it works is most of them get a percentage, right? Okay. So they come in and get a tattoo, and that's why if they charge you a certain thing, certain shops have $100 minimum because they have to split the money regardless, you know, with somebody else. It's not like booth rent. Some people do it, but it's very rare. I learned, trust me. I did my research. Like, how does this? So, because the owner can choose to pay you, right, and then to pay themselves. So now they're splitting. So legalities, that should be a 1099 form, right? What they got to get back if they make over $700 with you. So how I did it was I created a system within my company to where whoever pays you is not paying you to pay me. They're paying both of us.
Oh, okay.
Right. So I split it off to where that's why I taught them how to open up LLCs, how to file taxes.
Okay.
This is all things that I included into my resume when I'm doing the interview. Like I can teach you guys how to do this and that, because to me, I've taught it.
Yeah.
I've done it myself. I learned, and this is important. It's an important aspect to even being a business person, because once they leave me, then what? You know? And then I try to teach that when you do leave me, you have a year or two already under your belt.
Yeah.
Right.
You can head into a bank a lot easier. You can have a conversation with somebody else a lot easier. And so with my idea, they're their own boss, and I always tell them that all the time. It doesn't, because if I'm in the shop chilling and people come in, most of the time, don't even know who I am. You know, I'm not one of those guys that, oh yeah, I'm the owner. I'm this. You know, so unless you actually know me, you know, you wouldn't even know that, because the business speaks for itself. You know, I'm one of those guys that sit back, and once again, I like to see them take on a road where they like to bring up ideas and bring leaders, and that's how they become their own boss. And putting them in a position like this is saying, hey, you know, you're gonna have to file your own taxes. You're gonna have to learn how to manage your money right.
Right.
And it's still at a lower level, because I'm the one that still got to pay for the lease, the rent, and things like that. But getting them prepped in, man, from what I've learned over these last 2 years that I've done that, it makes them a better person, a better man, more responsible. You know, and if a person becomes more responsible with their life, they become more responsible with things that they actually care about, which at this point will be their career, you know, or how to balance things out, you know. And all the people that's been working for me for the past 2 years, or people that even know me now, if you see me at the gym or wherever, they know that these jewels, like, it comes off easily now, you know, because like I said, the part that I'm at right now is a lot higher than just the shop, and the shop is like my baby. I'll never let it go. Probably I'm eventually gonna start to reopen more, you know, in Florida, because I got it locked down now. I kind of understand the game. I kind of understand how to hire employees, you know, within this game. So,
and then another thing I was gonna ask, right? So with that being said, them being their own bosses, does egos clash? Like, you know, I'm my own boss. You can't tell me what to, you know what I'm saying? How does that go?
Yeah, I think it goes by the operation of the game, right? And learning how to break bread with people. It's such an important thing through business, you know, especially me meeting higher business people. You know, I've met millionaires before, and the consciousness that they have, which is what I teach into people, is I don't just tell them, like, that's why I talk about the umbrella factor first, right? At the end of the day, like, I've had some people that go out and want to spend money how I'm spending it, and this is just on buying drinks or just doing shit basic. Yeah. And me understanding, I personally have friends that got way more money than me, but I never try to match their limit. You know, I always know my limit, and I came from I'm like, my limit getting there. You know what I'm saying? But I've known my limit every time. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like characterism, right? Charisma, and me hiring a person, you don't know everybody at the beginning. It's impossible. That's why I went through hiring people, or maybe firing people, and getting easier at firing people, and getting easier at hiring people, because I knew how to kind of, you know. But the people that I've learned is meetings, right? And I hold meetings every Tuesday, or I try to, you know, if I push it through a day. And this is the time that I get together with the guys. And as a good leader now, I've learned that they're in the line of war, right? Yeah. They're there every day. I used to be there every day. Yeah. Now I'm there only in my meetings. So them coming together, me either watching film, right? I got cameras set up, and I rarely go through it. But there's times if there is an issue, I may have to go through film real quick and manage it at my perspective. Once again, I'm not expecting them to be as high up in the leadership thought process as I am. So sometimes I do have to sit back and be like, all right. And the amount of positive feedback that I get when I actually call them and be like, man, you could have handled this situation this way. Because they know that I get it. You know, at this point, and what's crazy is 2 to 3 years ago, I probably wouldn't have been able to have the confidence to talk to whatever age, like, look, man, you know you fucked up. You know, when you mess up on whatever it is, one of the biggest things in your character is being able to acknowledge that. You know, and being able to be around people, because when I mess up, I tell them. So if they seeing somebody that they not look up to but kind of lead and manage, I could fall to every level, and I never look above anybody's level. I'm always at their level with it. So that respect level was never that I'm egotistical.
Right.
You know, so if the main guy not egotistical, it's kind of hard for them to overpower. You know, and it's all friendly competition,
right?
Because there's rules and regulations to how the shop's supposed to be ran, and through those rules, they know not to overstep anybody's feet by taking somebody's client. All of these is just things that they know.
Okay.
You know, so if it comes to personality, that's different. If your personality's starting to clash, then I gotta either sit back as a boss, or is this person making me enough money that's gonna affect my shop, that's gonna affect the other people that need more money. Right. And it's a rare occasion, but once again, it's based off of the leader, man, and how he sees his team, you know, and how he can really not micromanage, but from afar. Because if there's anything that my team can say now is I'm rarely on it, I'm like on the tail about anything. Yeah. Until I have to be, and then when I am, the expectation is like, okay, we should have. You know, and that's because everybody within themselves is becoming their own responsible person. Right. I don't have to sit and teach everything, you know.
So, you know, with you being a business owner and just doing business in general, you know, sometimes it's hard to, you know, have that work-life balance or whatever. And, you know, with you being in school as well as I am, I've learned a lot, you know what I'm saying? They've always talked about, like, especially in the business courses and things of that nature, you know, work-life balance and having that balance. Yeah. What does that balance mean for you?
Sacrifice. It means sacrifice 100%. You know, once again, but back to my guy, Inky Johnson, he says sacrifice is the prerequisite of growing, right? And for me, from 2018 to 2020, I sacrificed so much time, so much sleep, so much partying, you know. And it's crazy because it's easier said than done, you know. When it pops up that day or that weekend,
Lord knows. It's
like, hey man, I'll be right there. You know what I'm saying? I'll be right there. But learning my growth process within that sacrifice is really, once again, my testimony to be able to. So when people complain around me, or people like, man, I'm tired, I just look at them like, you know, because I've sacrificed maybe 16 hours of the day. I can't even count on my hands how much times I slept, maybe 3 hours. Yeah. And once again, the balancing out, right? Because a lot of people will say, that's not healthy. That's not healthy to do that. That's not healthy to do it. Now, I tell people this. I probably could only have ever gotten through it because I was at peace. I never stressed about nothing. I was just tired. You know what I'm saying? Like, understand there's a difference between, like, you actually stressing about things, or you being upset, and then you being tired of. I was just tired of things that I was supposed to be tired of. You know what I'm saying? I remember one time I called my pops, and I told him, like, man, Pop, I'm tired, man. Like, for real, I'm doing a lot, bro. I'm balancing out my daughter, right? I'm going to school, I'm working, right? And balancing the business. And I say work just to throw in there. I went back to work after 3 years of just being like a straight entrepreneur. And I did that to learn the healthcare, right? The healthcare business at a whole different aspect. And I was bored, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I traveled for like 2 years. I was in the gym at 6 a.m. with the old people because I couldn't sleep. Like, there was so much thing. And then I look back, I'm like, man, I felt retired for real. And then I'm like, I got more shit to do. You know, and how do I learn it? I got to get back in the game. I can't just sit back here. And I could have took notes on YouTube. I'm like, let me go work for somebody. It wasn't about the money. It's about the knowledge and everything that I'm learning in the process. Yeah. You know, so with that balance, right, with work, that takes up, I said that to say it takes up 6 hours of my day or more. The balance is hard. It's going, but you recognizing it. So when I told my pops, I'm like, I'm tired. He's like, what are you tired of? And I realized everything I told him I was tired of was everything that I asked for, right? Harder work. I'm back in school to learn more. You know, I just bought a crib, so I'm traveling more, but that's a better area. You know, everything that was a level up required more work. You know, and a quote that I just heard was that every new level of us deserves a different version of us. Yeah. You know, and that's because it requires more. You know, and you're going to get tired until you got the grinds going and now you in gear. But every next level is going to be a harder version. It's going to be a harder version of whatever it is. So right now, the balance, once again, even right now, is still hard. You know, even I had a full day today. Literally dropped my little girl off and came straight here.
Right.
You know, after the shop and after chilling with her, I had to have brunch with her and still, you know. So when I see people and like I said, excuses are hard for me now.
Yeah.
It's so hard to even come by. Like, hey, bruh, try harder. You know, like literally make it happen. Get less sleep. Now a lot of people, I need my sleep, no problem. I'm just gonna be a couple of weeks more ahead of you because I got a couple of more hours in that grind. You know.
Yeah.
And some people could waste it though, man. Some people could really just stay up and do something for 6 years and just I quit, you know. But like I said, the willpower behind being able to fight through it, man, is gonna be a hard fight. I tell you that right now. There's nothing about being a business owner, nothing about balancing out life, right? As you know, that's gonna be some type of slight easy, but the balance has to come through you. That you have to learn how to put your friends to the side. You have to learn how to hit a gym, eat a little better, if that helps. You know,
right.
Manage your time. Like I said, I'm tired, but I'm at peace every time. You know, I'm not fighting through anything. So
Yeah.
So with you being grounded, like you seem like real humble. Like you said, when you talk to the artists, you don't talk as you above, you talk as you right there with them, right?
Right.
So like me knowing you for a while, man. I mean, we was working at a temp agency, getting paid like $200-300 a week, and then
for sure.
now you here, you know, business owner.
For sure.
Is it hard being humble? Is it hard, like, especially let's say you have a disagreement and somebody may getting a little rest, like, you know, like, dude, I done came all the way up here. Like, is it hard to stand humble and grounded like that?
Nah, it's not, man. It's really not, man. Coming from where I came from, right?
Yeah.
Even when I met you, right? Even when I met you, that was not saying to level up, but I just came from Florida, and I was just thinking about that too. Like we were both in the same kind of place, man. But coming from Florida, I've kind of always seen humbleness around me, right? My pops was a pretty good example. You know, whether he had it or he didn't, people didn't know. You know, he always played it right, but with my demeanor now, it's not that hard, man, because money, once again, that's why I rarely talk about finances, you know, that's why, because I'm not even where I think I should be, you know.
Gotcha.
I have had friends that told me, man, like, you should recognize your accomplishments more, you know, but any grinder, man, like I mentioned, that's always got a next goal, that always got something next. It's hard for them to see an accomplishment like that, and for me, it wasn't humbling. The humbling part is the things that I go through, right? The humbling part is my process, because my process is still going on right now. And I do sit back and do, like, there's certain conversations, and you had mentioned if things get heated, right? If people get out their body, and anybody can speak on it now. Even the people that have worked for me, I'm the last person to speak out of every argument. People can, man, this and because we're all men, we're all grown, and you know what I'm saying, like, we're grown men at that, so it won't always be on point, right? It won't always be, but I always sit back, because at the end of everything there has to be a solution. At the end of everything, it don't matter what it is. I'm gonna punch you in your, let me wait here to see if you punch him in the right. because at the end of the day, you're not gonna work for me no more. And the way that I hold pride to my business, you know, it's hot. You know, I hold a lot of pride to my business. So that's why any company that allows employees to get away with things, you messed up. You're holding a lower standard to what people think that they can do next time. If you allow people to fight in your establishment because you're a beauty salon or a barbershop, or a tattoo shop, they're gonna feel like they could fight in there the next time somebody gets mad, you know. So I feel like I've held, and trust me, but they look at each other enough to know that the respect is there, and it's always me at the end, like, all right, now what, bro? Now what? You still, like, we gonna figure it out, because you gotta come to work tomorrow. You gotta come to work tomorrow. If you want to take off tomorrow, let's work something out. But being able to be the problem solver out of everything teaches myself, and then teaches them how to problem solve their damn self, bro.
Right.
Like, I've learned that, like, at the beginning, it was always me, like, man. And then after that, bro, they figure that shit out on themselves, because the expectations, they're like, all right, we gonna argue. And if it got higher, it has gotten to a point, very rarely, to where I do have to fire somebody because they've been spreading shit, or like if there's anything I could recognize in the business fast, is how, because I'm how I operate with my team. Once again, everybody's a leader, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're your own boss, you're gonna know how to manage your communication.
Right.
You're gonna know if a person come in that's not wanting to be a boss, that just wants to be a troublemaker, that just wants to not be in the shop as much and make money. Cause why? Cause everybody's treating themselves like this is theirs. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I respect about the shop now and the people that I have work for me is that they treat it like theirs because I allow it to.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. You know, and that's just fabulously put, as I would say. But I mean, I want to know because I'm always intrigued about like tattoo stuff, whatever, just, you know, in general. So have you ever been like nervous to do like an actual tattoo on somebody?
So I don't tattoo. I do not.
Really?
I do not tattoo at all. I don't. I used to pierce, and I only did piercing because I felt like I had to be a part of the tattoo shop.
Right,
that
right,
makes
right.
some type of sense.
Right.
You know, I'm like, so I learned how to pierce, but then that's where I found my place in being a leader. Right. I'm like, I was involved, but I didn't like it more. Once again, whether it was the aspect of my employees now looking at me like we are co-workers, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So certain things that if I expected them to be in on time, and take it as important, because why don't you be on time? You work it, you know what I'm saying? Right? So it's things like that I literally, but instead of having a tattoo artist that does piercing, I hired a piercer.
Oh, okay.
Right. So and this was through a program that one of my artists actually did. He taught him how to pierce. And at the end of the program, I'm like, it was an event that we had, and he works for me still. I'm like, trying to work for the shop, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of gave him that, and I already knew what I was doing intentionally because now I have somebody that's there. That's when I was able to step completely away. Like, let me focus on the structure, right? The management, the leadership. Let me focus on things that I feel like my talent is for.
Yeah.
And not worry about the money part, right? I didn't have to worry about me being in there getting $40 piercings, $50, because then I could have, because I didn't have to split it with anybody. Yeah. But instead, that's not my thing. My thing is actually putting things together and making sure that you have more clients for you to eat and for me to eat to still feel like I don't have to be there. So, but yeah, so I can't necessarily answer that question totally. But
well, have you been nervous to do like a piercing on somebody?
It's definitely at the beginning. It's definitely for sure.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, for sure. No, for sure. But how I was trained was just so fast, and I feel like I probably did one bad piercing, and when I say bad, I went too far in this, and not like deep. I just like pierced the skin a little bit too much, but I didn't do like, it was a lot of easy piercings like ears, you know, like I did a couple of the nipples. It was, if you're a piercer, you kind of know those are really fast. So it wasn't too much. And once again, I feel like the confidence comes from your teacher, right? So the person that taught me at the time was really good. He was the one that kind of opened it up with. So it was a smooth process, but I even had one person ask me to tattoo them. And they came in, it was for her birthday, right? And her friend was getting a tattoo, and she got a tattoo, but she wanted me to do it. Yeah. I'm like, nah, I don't tattoo. I'm just the owner, you know. Like, I'm not. She's like, no, I want you to do it. It's my birthday. Like, I'll pay you. Yeah. I'm like, no, like, literally, I don't tattoo. It's not about the money at all. Like, please understand that. And she's like, no, like, and she was like, very like. So I told her, I'm like, all right, I'll tattoo you, but it has to be on a place that can't be seen. So I did one tattoo, and I tattooed her foot at the bottom of her foot. Yeah. Like, so I don't know if anybody has ever tattooed anybody at the bottom of their foot, but that was the only place where I was like, I'll do it there, and then that's it.
How did you do?
I did a flower, like one of those lines, circles. That was the only thing that I could really think of, and even then, I felt like I was going too deep. So I'm like, she couldn't feel it. So
Was she intoxicated or something?
No. It's because she had just got a piece from my other artist, and if people know, like, once you're in that like tattoo phase, I know for sure, like, once you get your whole sleeve, you really have a person that's in pain, or that's it. Like, you can keep on going for the rest of the time. So she was just kind of in that groove, so she just had her foot out, and she was getting tattooed by me and him at the same time.
I got you. Okay.
So yeah, that was a pretty wild experience. That's probably my
So you had mentioned Black Ink in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So you see how, there's wild stuff going on, and
Right.
you ever thought about doing something like that, like recording it and maybe because with social media, you know what I'm saying, it's easy to market, get stuff out there. Y'all ever thought about trying to create something like that, like a little show, Ink Time show or something?
I've had artists. I had one artist that brought it up, man, but he was really. He was a character, right? So he kind of liked that. In reality, man, I've been to a lot of conventions, right, in Tampa, Chicago for sure. So when you meet these guys, whether it's Ryan or whoever in person, man, obviously the show continues, but it doesn't continue all the time, right? It's real life, and I think the only reason why I didn't consider it is because real life tattoo shops are not as interesting. Well, I mean, we have our thing. And once again, it's not boring, but it's like regular life. It's like it'll be a reality show with no drama. And if you follow some of the people from the show, they character change throughout the show too. Like how they was at the beginning, and once again, I haven't seen Black Ink in probably a little after I opened the shop, and it wasn't so because of that. It's just I just didn't want to mix my ideas in what probably is not reality, right? And once again, they operate as far as them like franchising and doing their thing, genius. That's really how they as the business, but as the reality TV. Yeah. I've been in the shop 5 years to know that there's fights. There's thinking like that. There's events, right? Like I have some events that are super dope. But the reality of it, to do it every day or to blog about it enough, I think if anything, people will just learn how real it is, or how slow days it is, or how the grind is, or how to actually operate in business without the because what makes it exciting really is the drama, right?
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I guess if I can like edit every drama scene that we have on camera,
right?
But and then I tell people, because this is not the first time that I've been asked that.
Okay.
Is that I kind of want to mold my company into what I feel like it is already. Us being in Gary at that, right? Yeah. And me still having family from there, from EC, so I knew about the area. But if you check us out right now on Google, we 4.8 stars. With over 220 reviews. So creating a structure to where they respect the company more, wherever you come from, whether you coming from Valpo, whether you coming from Chicago, you know what I'm saying? So they respecting the company as a whole and not making attacks. Because as much as Black Ink do get people, though, I know people that have been tatted there. Brian Henry's a great artist. Like a lot of those guys are super talented, and it won't stop their people from coming in, but it does separate a bigger crowd. Okay. And, for me, it's not that real for me. This is where it's actually at. So to be able to hold a respectable company that we not known for fights and not known for crazy shit happening at the shop, I'm cool with that for sure.
So I appreciate definitely for you being able to stop by and spending some time with us and letting us know how. Because I be intrigued on how the world of the tattoo world kind of goes. So I just wanted to know. So before we get out of here, do you have anything upcoming that they can know about?
Yes. So towards the end of the month, this month, the shop's gonna be having an event. We have an event pretty much almost every month at the end, whether it's piercings or tattoos, right? Mm-hmm. So our shop minimum is usually $100, right, for like the smaller things or whatever. So on these events, we usually do like $40, $50 tattoos. Piercings are usually like half off. So we have that up and coming towards the end of this month. So if you want to follow us on Instagram, it's inktime.llc. So at inktime.llc, you can find like the artists there now, their work.
What's before we go, what's next for Ink Time though, man? What you thinking about cooking up?
So right now, actually, I'm working with one of my artists that's been there for a little while. And we're thinking about taking over the piercing game, man. So actually being able to sell jewelry, right? Kind of like how Pagoda and actual stores sell jewelry. So you'll hear about it, but it's not that easy because of whether it's manufacturing or things like that. But I have enough confidence in the crew that I think I'm gonna work with right now to actually tear into that. And anybody that knows a tattoo shop operating, man, piercings is a lot of bread, and where the bread is actually at as far as in the actual industry. So working on that, man. You know, so that'll be the next phase. And then as far as like my entrepreneurship, taking over the healthcare for sure. Like I'm actually working on opening up an adult daycare. So that's on the that's really my next higher goal, because as I mentioned earlier in the interview, every next level, right? So that'll be my level to where I could really step back, right? We're talking about a multi-million-dollar industry, where the government itself is involved, right, with waivers and things like that for the actual healthcare industry. So being able to learn or be the person that I've learned through Ink Time, right? Ink Time was the best. I was the best student, and the game itself taught me so much. So, and being able to take that and go on to the next level and apply it to what I know now through school is going to be super exciting. So, I'm gonna try to tie everything together as I expand my whole entrepreneurship game as myself. You know, if y'all want to hit me or follow me, Dre_Ink Time. I kind of spit game like on a, you know what I'm saying, on a regular about business, you know. So even if you guys obviously ever have any questions outside of here, I'm definitely open.
Well, thank you so much. You know, we definitely appreciate you for stopping by and letting us know about Ink Time. Make sure you guys go and check them out and definitely support businesses coming up, y'all. Always is definitely important. Y'all know we definitely support that over at the Record Pool. Make sure you guys hit up Chicago Realist and y'all get on the show. We can get you an interview going. We can get you some stuff going. And whatever we can do for your business, we would love to help. So, y'all already know how we do. So, let's see if Chicago Realist can hit the 3 S's for us.
Support, share, subscribe. Here
we go.
Thank God. This has been a day. So make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment. Shout out to Channel 19 on Comcast. Shout out to all the streaming platforms. Definitely shout out to the website. As y'all know, this is therecordpool.com. I need y'all to go on there. Make sure you guys got your internet radio playing all day long, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if you all don't know, you can also follow us on Instagram at this is the Record Pool _. And I think I nailed all of it, y'all. So it's your girl Summertime Fan, y'all.
Yeah, it's your boy Chicago Realist.
And we out. Peace.